Welcome everyone to Montreal. We're in Canada for the Canadian Grand Prix here in 2022. It's 20 degrees here in the sunny skies of Montreal, and it's a sunny day. So let's go and let's have a look at the track. It's a 4.3 kilometer circuit with 2 DRS zones and 14 turns, 7 to the right and 6 to the left. And obviously, it's got one of that most famous, infamous corners. Turn 13 and 14 of the Wall of Champions. So I'm going to hand that over to Jack Marshall now for the grid.
Thank you, Sam. We had a great qualifying yesterday afternoon in Canada with Ferrari of Charles Leclerc taking pole position, Lewis Hamilton P2. This is a great showing from Ferrari and Mercedes. P3 we have Verstappen with Hamilton's teammate Russell, and P4 Carlos Sainz, and then Perez best of the rest, Norris in P7 with Ocon in 8, Alonso in 9, and Ricciardo P10. 11, Zhou Guanyu with Yuki Tsunoda, Kevin Magnussen, and Kevin King. Mick Schumacher P15, Alex Albon, Bottas, Gasly, and then to round off the grid, the 2 Aston Martins of Vettel and Stroll.
Thank you, Jack. It was a pretty exhilarating qualifying yesterday. So I believe we're going down to the track now. What I have noticed, and what seems to have been happening, is that Ferrari's engine, it's not just Ferrari itself. It seems their customer teams and things like that have also been affected by these engine failures and engine issues.
Oh, certainly. I mean, Alfa Romeo has not had a great season so far. There were some good showings from Zhou Guanyu, but they can't rely on those P10s here and there. Yeah,
and also I just want to talk about even with Ferrari's even with all of Ferrari's issues. I believe Leclerc he's got a podium in the last 3 races. That's incredible consistency from him, despite the pain that's been happening recently.
Exactly, P3 in all 3 of the previous races: Aussie, Imola, and Miami. I mean, he'll be wanting another podium here. That will just make his day.
Yeah, and starting on pole is certainly going to give him a good shot at that. And I believe the last couple of cars are just lining up on the grid now. This is Kevin King, just going through the Wall of Champions there. So yeah, these cars are just lining up on the grid. So I believe we'll be going to the 5 red lights anytime now.
Yes, exactly.
Just about ready for the Canadian Grand Prix here in 2022 in Montreal. It's the 5 red lights are on. And it's lights out and away we go. Charles Leclerc gets a good start ahead of Lewis Hamilton, already going to cut him off. He's already cut Lewis Hamilton off. Max Verstappen getting the jump on Lewis Hamilton and the jump on Charles Leclerc. But he's going around the outside of Leclerc. Is Verstappen going to make the move stick on the new soft tyres? Yes, he is. Max Verstappen, incredible move into turn 1. He now leads the Canadian Grand Prix.
That is amazing from Max Verstappen. Jumping both Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, that'd be a dream for Red Bull. I mean, they would not have expected that.
Yeah, Charles Leclerc starting on pole would have wanted to get that. At least the lead into turn 1, but Max Verstappen is not going to let that sit.
Yes, indeed. And Sergio Perez here, we see him overtaking Carlos Sainz. That is another overtake for Red Bull. They have had an absolute dream start. So is Lando Norris, jumping from P7 to P5. Overtaking both Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz. Also, similarly, the McLaren garage must be ecstatic right now.
Yeah, and Kevin King jumping from P14 up to P11 already. Incredible start from the Williams car, and now I see. Yeah, we're going in to see Kevin King and Daniel Ricciardo hitting the wall in the Wall of Champions. Was that a loss of front wing? I think. Yes, he's lost his end plate.
Yes, that's definitely not great for Daniel Ricciardo. He's overtaken by Kevin Magnussen right now, going down the inside. And here we see Yuki Tsunoda, maybe not trying to get the move yet. Maybe he's just waiting for Daniel Ricciardo. But I want to get back to your point about Kevin King. He has had some amazing starts this season, jumping up places, places at turn 1. He's a very aggressive driver, don't you agree?
Yes, he's a very good driver. You know, even in that Williams car, which statistically is the slowest car on the grid, he's making some incredible moves. And while we're talking about this current rookie, let's have a look at the other rookie, Zhou Guanyu, having a bit of a scrap with Mick Schumacher going into that chicane there, going around the outside and then through the inside. I believe he's going to try and go stick around the outside into. Oh no, he's not made the move stick, but I thought he was going to try and go for a move into the last turn there, or into the hairpin there.
Yes, and the two Alfa Romeos of Zhou Guanyu and Bottas are both fighting it. Tough battle between them. It is Zhou Guanyu on the inside, I believe, Bottas on the outside, going into the turn 13. Who will stick ahead? It seems like Zhou Guanyu is sticking ahead, but no. Bottas gets a good exit. He's going down the main straight. It'll be a big fight, and they'll be all the way through Sector 1. Who will pull ahead? The cars behind them, Lance Stroll, Alex Albon, both. They'll be wanting to see what happens, trying to get advantage to overtake the person who does not come out of this favourably. Zhou Guanyu gets ahead. That is great from him.
Yeah, great from Zhou Guanyu, and also great from Lance Stroll, starting last on the grid and already up to P16, jumping his much more experienced teammate of Sebastian Vettel, and of Gasly and Albon as well. Incredible start for Lance Stroll.
Certainly, Lance Stroll has been doing great. Similar to Kevin King, he's been doing great with jumping those starts. It'll just be whether he can stick it, whether he can go long on those tyres, save the rubber, and make sure he can stick it for the end of the race.
Yes, and I believe we're watching George Russell now got DRS on Lewis Hamilton, who has DRS on Charles Leclerc, and Max Verstappen already pulled 1.7 seconds on Charles Leclerc in just 3 laps. Incredible start from Max Verstappen. You know, just as we saw in Imola, he just had that incredible start and incredible race where he just pulled so much time on the rest of the grid.
Yes, I totally agree. We saw it in Imola, both in the sprint and in the race. He just had the pace, he just had the drive, he had the car, he had everything, Max Verstappen, just to get ahead. Here we see Haas of, I believe this, maybe Kevin Magnussen, or it could be Mick Schumacher.
No, it was Magnussen, I know.
It was Magnussen overtaking many places in the first few corners.
Yeah, that's a great move by Kevin Magnussen, and great move by old Kevin King going down the inside of both of them. What an incredible move by Kevin King there. That's probably how he's jumped up to P10 so quickly.
That was a stunning three-way battle there. Absolutely amazing from Kevin King, putting his car right where he needed, right at the right time, getting that traction and getting ahead of those two cars, the Haas and the AlphaTauri.
Yes, and he's already... He's going to try and go around the outside of... Which McLaren is that? I believe that's Daniel Ricciardo, I think that was. Oh, yes, this is when they come back up to the Wall of Champions and Ricciardo gets it all crossed up and puts it in the wall. Well, not quite puts it in the wall, but scrapes the wall and loses his front wing end plate.
Yes, indeed. It was not great for Daniel Ricciardo. Now, of course, he's in P20. That was a violent hit into the wall, and that end plate...
I'm surprised.
Right off.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't. We're going to see the replay here, but I'm surprised he didn't just take his whole car out of the race there. That was quite a nasty hit.
Yes, I mean, I've seen weaker taps on that wall. The Wall of Champions that have absolutely wrecked cars, and it is amazing that Ricciardo's car is still functioning, still driving, even though he is now in P20. I believe that's because he had to pit. I mean, you can't suffer that kind of front wing damage and still remain. Oh, that is not a great...
Look how heavy that hit was. And all that end plate rolling back onto the track could potentially cause any punctures for some drivers there.
Yes, I think some of them will be thinking, do I have a puncture? Though at this point in the race, I feel like it is clear no one has gotten a puncture.
Yeah, and it seems the marshals have cleared that up as well. So I think we're in the clear for that. And we're seeing Lewis Hamilton gaining on Charles Leclerc now.
Yes, he is 5 tenths behind Charles Leclerc, which is in the 1 second DRS range. But Lewis Hamilton has George Russell behind him, his teammate. And he will be... I wonder if Mercedes are trying to work together just to push on that Ferrari, to push, and threaten Charles Leclerc's position in P2 and try and get him behind him so they can maybe chase Max Verstappen, who's only 2 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if George has been told, don't push on Lewis, don't attack Lewis, just use him as a tow to try and catch Charles, and then you can both get past him and you can both chase after Verstappen. That seems like a pretty good strategic play for both of them.
Yes, certainly. And we also have to talk about Lando Norris, who's behind the two Mercedes in P5. Lando started in P7. I mean, that is some good stuff.
Yeah, good starts. Lando Norris always showing he's outperforming that car, and he's always at the top of his game. Even when he's got not potentially the fastest car on the grid. We saw last year even when he got that pole position in Sochi.
Yes, certainly. And here we see Sergio Perez and Lando Norris having an intense battle. Lando Norris trying to go on the inside of Perez, but it didn't work. Here we see him go on the outside, and now he's stuck behind Sergio Perez. That is a great move by Sergio Perez. That is absolutely amazing by him. Sergio Perez now goes into P5 where he qualified. Actually, no, he qualified in P6. That's one position above where he qualified.
Yeah, that's a good start from Sergio Perez. Getting back past Lando Norris. But I think he's going to try and chase back after George Russell there now.
Yes, certainly. Sergio Perez be wanting to go where his teammate is. Teammate in P1. Definitely be thinking he needs to get in those podium places because you are evidently compared to your teammate in Formula One.
Yeah, Perez. Even last year was compared heavily to Max, but he and Max and Lewis were on a completely other level. It was, I don't even know how many points between them and the rest of the field. It's probably at least a good 100, but yeah, and it was, even if you're an incredible driver like Sergio Perez, you've got Max Verstappen just on another level.
Yes, and here we see Zhou Guanyu with his teammate Valtteri Bottas behind him. Bottas had DRS but wasn't able to catch up. We see here in the main straight, Bottas gets DRS again. Will he be able to get close enough to move on his teammate? And we see a few people pitting, including George Russell, Fernando Alonso. Some of the leading front runners who I believe started on the softs are now pitting. And here we see Zhou Guanyu and George Russell fighting. George Russell, of course, having newer tyres than Zhou Guanyu. And Zhou Guanyu sticking ahead, keeping the Mercedes between him and his teammate.
Yes, great stuff from Zhou Guanyu. And I guess just a little bit unlucky for George Russell to come out in the middle of the traffic, and now he's going to have to try and fight his way back on cold tyres.
Yes, indeed. Here we see George Russell. I believe that's going on the inside of Zhou Guanyu. Oh, it's hard to tell from this angle, but it may have been Bottas is trying to take advantage of his teammate's weakness, and he gets ahead of his teammate. That is a good move from Valtteri Bottas. Now he'll be just trying to stick in the tails of George Russell.
Yeah, and I think Bottas is gonna try and show Mercedes that he's still got it. Show that sacking him for George Russell was not the right move, and but Zhou's making it pretty hard for him. But I think Bottas is going to want to try and show them that he's still got it, that he still should be in that Mercedes seat, that he should still be fighting for wins, fighting for podiums. I think he's
certainly.
And we now see some of the other drivers are pitting, some of the other soft runners also pitting. So that just leaves Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton out in the lead. They both started on the mediums, so they will be trying to go a bit longer than Max and try and get that overcut on him.
Yes, and potentially trying to go back to the soft tyres to try and get that pace advantage at the end of the race as well.
Certainly. We also have Carlos Sainz, who's on the hards. He's currently in P10. He will probably be wanting to pit for the softs at the end of the race. And here we had Sergio Perez trying to pass both of the Alfa Romeos. They go 3-1 in the corner, and Sergio Perez managed to make the move. That is on both of them at the one corner. That is amazing.
Incredible move by Sergio Perez. And I believe the Alfas, those are the tyres they started the race on, was it not? So I believe they still have to pit. And now we're seeing Lando Norris going down around the outside of Valtteri Bottas and getting back past him. And he's going to, I believe, chase after Zhou Guanyu now. And Fernando Alonso getting past Valtteri Bottas as well.
Yes, I mean, The Alfa Romeos are on older tyres. They will need to be thinking about pitting because they are struggling out here, getting absolutely overtaken by these faster cars with fresher tyres.
Yeah, and I believe they'll probably be trying to stretch out those medium tyres so they can have a massive pace advantage right at the end of the race by putting on the soft tyres, strapping on the faster boots, and just trying to blast past their opponents there.
Oh yes, we are 10 laps in, 8 laps to go in this Canadian Grand Prix. We currently have Charles Leclerc leading, Lewis Hamilton P2, Max Verstappen P3, though Max Verstappen has pitted. If you were just joining us, I mean, there's great potential. Max Verstappen's 11 seconds behind.
And still gaining on Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, I believe, because he was somewhere in the 12 seconds before, and now he's... Oh yeah, Lewis Hamilton pitting. Lewis Hamilton has pitted, and yeah, he's now in the pits, so I assume he'll be strapping on the soft tyres.
I assume so. That would be the best strategy, in my opinion. Getting those soft tyres on and absolutely pushing it for the final stint to try and catch Max. He was currently 6 seconds ahead of him.
Yes, so yeah, all the drivers who started on the softs did 8 laps on the softs and then strapped on the medium tyres for the last 10 laps. Now I believe the medium runners will probably be thinking about pitting now, you know, doing the 10 laps on the mediums and then strapping on the softs for the last 8 laps. So I think this will be when we start to see the medium tyres start to pit.
Yes, I mean, only people left Charles Leclerc and Zhou Guanyu and Carlos Sainz. The 2 Ferraris have not pitted yet, and the other one of the Ferrari engine customers. I mean, is this a coincidence, or are the Ferraris simply looking at their engine troubles and thinking we need to go long for some reason?
Yeah, I mean, potentially they're just thinking about that, potentially just trying to conserve their engine, and as we say that, Charles Leclerc is now pitted. He's Max Verstappen's got back past him, and I wonder if he's going to try and come out ahead of Lewis Hamilton. He was 4 tenths behind him before Hamilton went into the pits, and I believe he's still stayed ahead of Lewis Hamilton, just about a second behind him, ahead of him.
Oh, I've just realised that Carlos Sainz actually now has the medium tyres on. I did not realise he's pitted. So this battle between Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso is actually real. They're actually fighting this because both of them are pitted and they don't have to pit again. So Carlos Sainz holding back Fernando Alonso is actually him trying to keep that position.
Yes, and yeah, that's a bit of an interesting strategy, you know, going from the hard to the medium in such a short race. I thought they would have wanted to at least run the hards a little bit longer and then strap on the softs.
Yes, I mean, there are some interesting strategies here. We must say that Charles Leclerc has gone great against Lewis Hamilton. He has now pulled out of the DRS range, which means Lewis Hamilton will be liable to be overtaken by his teammate George Russell. George Russell getting DRS down the straight, but does not catch up, so he'll be going to the main straight to get once again another dose of DRS to try and catch up to take him on turn 1. But George Russell just can't quite get close enough. I mean, he'll just have to keep pushing and pushing to overtake his teammate.
Yeah, and I think Lewis Hamilton's... he's losing time to Charles Leclerc, so I thought he was going to try and get past him. But now we're seeing Kevin King going down the inside of Kevin Magnus. Oh, no, it's the other way around. But I think that was that one of them who cut the corner?
I mean, that was definitely close. I think that would be for the stewards. We had a yellow flag in Sector 3, which is now clear. I'm unsure what incident was in Sector 3.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out who was where to see who it might have been, but I can't pinpoint. I can't see who it was.
Must have been just a small issue. It was Ricciardo and Schumacher. Yellow flag involved both the drivers. P13 and P14 are both of them.
Yes, so I believe we've just got the message from race control about that. So yeah, I think they might start to look into it, or it might be nothing, or yeah. Most
certainly, and here we see Kevin King and Kevin Magnussen, the two Kevins fighting down the back straight. Kevin Magnussen getting some DRS and going down the outside. He manages to stick ahead going into turn 13 and turn 14 chicane, and that has managed to get ahead, but he gets DRS again, does Kevin Magnussen, and that will make him pull even further. That kind of ruins Kevin King's hope of taking back 9th place.
Yeah, that's just a bit of a shame for Kevin King. You know, he is still in the points though, so that's good news for Williams. So yeah, he's even as a rookie, Kevin King showing how incredible of a driver he can be, and just showing the incredible pace that he's got.
And I also love the aggression between the two drivers. They know that their teams won 2 points. That's a massive difference for them, and they need to scrape those points where they can find it. They're not content with sitting in P10 and getting that point. They want the P9. Here we go to George Russell, who is 6 tenths behind his teammate Lewis Hamilton. He will get DRS along this straight. I mean, is 6 tenths close enough?
It may not be close enough for this straight, but it might be close enough for the next one if he gets a good exit out of this turn. And I believe he has got a pretty good exit, so he's got the DRS again. And I believe he's going to try and go for that move down the inside of Lewis Hamilton, but no, he's just not quite close enough yet.
Yes, I mean, that is something about Canada. They have 2 DRS straights, one after another, separated by the turn 13, turn 14 chicane. It is a very tricky chicane to pass on. So it kind of creates an opportunity that if you're not able to make a move, you can make a move on the next lap, and I'm sure we'll see George Russell try and do that next lap. He is now 4 tenths behind Lewis Hamilton, going on to close to 3 tenths behind, so he will definitely have that opportunity here. He has DRS, but again, he is not close to making a move, and that is a good thing by George Russell. He's being patient. He's waiting to overtake his teammate.
Yeah, I think he's just going to try and keep that pace, just keep the real short gap. You know, he's 3 tenths, 4 tenths behind now, so I think he's just going to try and want to keep that gap as close as it can, but commentator's good strikes again. He's lost 3 tenths in that corner. But I think he's going to want to try and bring that back up, and I think he might just try and get just a little bit closer, just a tiny better exit than Lewis Hamilton out of the final corner, and he's going to try and get him, but I still don't think he's close enough.
I mean, with the slipstream and with the DRS, I mean, he will be way faster than Lewis Hamilton on those straights, so he will just have to push to get that P3. He'll be wanting that podium. It's the podium place. And of course, the 2 Mercedes are now Lewis Hamilton 3.6 behind Charles Leclerc, so pushing there in 3 laps, maybe not as reliable, so the Mercedes will definitely be fighting each other.
Yeah, and I just want to point out Charles Leclerc was 5.1 a couple laps ago. Now he's 4.3, so he is catching Max Verstappen. And I believe, we're now seeing the replay of Mick Schumacher and Daniel Ricciardo. Mick Schumacher got it all crossed up, almost put it on the wall of champions, I believe. He just outbraked himself, went over the sausage curb, and did very well to get it out and to keep it out of the wall and keep it out of Ricciardo as well.
I must say that Ricciardo was maybe inches away from a devastating crash. That is very, very close.
Yeah, that could have been a pretty nasty crash between the two of them. And I think we're all glad that they're both okay. That nothing terrible happened.
Yes, and George Russell, once again, he's 4 tenths behind his teammate. It's agonizingly close between the 2 Mercedes drivers. I mean, Russell has outperformed his teammate in most of his races. This is one of the first races in this season where Lewis Hamilton has been ahead of George Russell. George Russell, of course, getting podiums in both Aussie and Imola in the past 3 races. So Russell's had a great streak. It will be up to Lewis Hamilton to just keep George Russell behind him, so his young teammate cannot get another podium.
Yeah, I think Lewis is going to want to show his prowess, show his experience, and show that he's still got it. You know, he's only about 5 races out of being in a great car. And even though the Mercedes is still a great car, it's still able of fighting for podiums. It's not to the level of fighting for the World Championship as he once thought, as he once wished for. But I think he's still going to try and show that he's still the number 1 driver in that team. He's still got what it takes.
Yes, and here we are watching the DRS train of Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon in 12th with Daniel Ricciardo behind him, Schumacher and Gasly all forming a long train, all getting DRS, unable to overtake each other, but Daniel Ricciardo is 3 tenths behind Esteban Ocon, which is pretty damn close. He has another chance getting DRS down the straight. But I feel like George Russell and Lewis Hamilton, he's just not able to put the car in a place where he can overtake.
Yeah, I mean, he was a little bit closer than George was, because George was always about 4 tenths out of the corner out of there, but and Daniel was about 3 tenths out of the corner. But even so, that's still not enough. And it's been a pretty quiet race for Max Verstappen, who's led pretty much every lap of this race, besides the pit stops. And as he rounds the final corner, the celebrations will be out in Canada for Max Verstappen, who wins the Canadian Grand Prix. Another win for the Dutchman. And Charles Leclerc brings it home in P2. And Lewis Hamilton, I believe, going to bring it home in P3.
Well done, Max. Can I have fail?
Alright.
Fail.
Lovely.
Recharge on fail 84, please, mate. Recharge fail 84.
I mean, Max Verstappen just had the mega strategy, the best strategy. Leclerc and Hamilton both started on medium tyres, Verstappen on soft, and it was the strategy that pulled him through. The great car, great performance. This was just Max Verstappen's day.
Yeah, this is, it seems to be that every race this season is Max Verstappen's day. He's just been in a complete other league to everyone else.
Yes, this is... Red Bull has shown yet again that it is the team to beat. It is the team that has got these regulations sorted. It knows what it's doing in this 2022 season with the new regulations. I mean, it's just a great day to be Verstappen.
Yeah, and we saw there Lewis Hamilton giving him that handshake, giving him that congratulatory handshake. Lewis knows what it feels like to win in Canada. I believe he got his first win here. I believe it was his first ever win here. So, yeah, I'm sure there's a very special place for Lewis Hamilton. And today it's a very special place for the Dutchman, Max Verstappen. It's always good to see that Ferrari on the podium. Charles Leclerc, beating the odds, beating his Ferrari engine troubles, and yeah, he's done very well this race, and so has Lewis Hamilton. It's been a quiet race for all three of these people, all three of these drivers, and it seems to be that I believe these are 3 top-tier drivers in 3 top positions. So here we see Max Verstappen wins the race with Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton rounding off the top 3 with George Russell P4, Perez P5, and Lando Norris in P6. Great race from him. Carlos Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Kevin Magnussen, and Kevin King rounding off the top 10. Haas and Williams both getting those crucial constructors points for them, which for small teams like that are incredible and very important for those drivers. And Max Verstappen with a 34-point lead over Sergio Perez in the Drivers' Championship. Charles Leclerc moves up into 3rd place. George Russell pushed down into 4th. And Lewis Hamilton in 6th place, just 1 point behind Carlos Sainz. Potentially in the next race he can push up another position. And Red Bull nearly 100 points ahead in the Constructors' Championship. Incredible showing from the incredible Red Bull, showing they've got these regulations absolutely nailed, as does Ferrari and Mercedes, who are only 3 points apart. In showing they've got a massive scrap on for P2 and 3 in the Constructors' Championship. Haas and Alfa Romeo fighting for P6 and 7, and I believe that is the end of the race here in Canada. So if you enjoyed, make sure to hit subscribe, hit that bell, and hit the like button, and we will see you all next time.
Subscribe to this. This is the best.
The recording.
No, you're not. Off. I'm still recording.